Baseball is full of wild stats and unbelievable moments. Here are some facts that sound totally fake, but they're 100% real. Barry Bonds wasn't just great. He was so good that his numbers feel like glitches in a video game. Start here. He has more MVP awards than most Hall of Famers combined. Pick any two legends. Bonds has more MVP awards than both of them combined. In 2001, he drove in 137 runs, but over half of them, 53%, were himself trotting home after another home run. Pitchers wanted nothing to do with him. He has more career intentional walks than the entire Miami Marlins franchise. In 2004 alone, he was intentionally walked a record 120 times. That's more than the White Sox, Blue Jays, Royals, and Tigers combined. From 2001 to 2004, nearly 40% of his at-bats ended in either a walk or a home run. And in 94% of the games he played, he reached base. And here's the wildest part. Even if you erased every single one of his 762 home runs, he'd still have a higher career on-base percentage than legends like Ken Griffey Jr. and Alex Rodriguez. Between the power, the speed, and the fear he put in pitchers, he built stats that look impossible, but they're real. Barry Bonds didn't just dominate baseball, he made it look like a video game. Shohei Ohtani just had the greatest game in baseball history, and it might have ended the GOAT debate forever. The Dodgers were one win away from the World Series. Ohtani had been slumping, hitless for games, struggling to find his rhythm. But then, under the lights at Dodger Stadium, he decided it's showtime, and what happened next doesn't even sound real. Ohtani took the mound and unleashed 100-mile-per-hour fastballs, striking out 10 over 6 scoreless innings. Then, as if pitching dominance wasn't enough, he also hit not one, not two, but 3 home runs, including a 469-foot blast that left the stadium. It was the kind of performance you'd expect in a video game, except this was real. This was Shohei Ohtani. When he walked off the mound, every fan was on their feet because they knew they just witnessed something baseball's never seen before. After this night, there's no debate. He is the greatest. Here's one of the most unbelievable stats in baseball history, and it belongs to Ichiro Suzuki. In his 10th major league at-bat, Ichiro hit a simple single. Nothing flashy, just a clean base hit. But that hit raised his career batting average to 300, and here's the crazy part. From that moment on, Ichiro's batting average never dropped below 300. Not once in his entire career. Thousands of at-bats, countless pitchers, and over a decade later, Ichiro stayed elite every single year. That's not luck. That's the mark of a master at work. Imagine a sport where failing 7 out of 10 times makes you one of the best in the world. In baseball, if you hit the ball and get on base just 30% of the time, you're an elite player. Now think about that. In basketball, a 30% field goal shooter? Benched. In soccer, scoring only 3 out of 10 penalty kicks? Disaster. In football, a quarterback completing 3 of 10 passes? Career over. But in baseball, that same 30% success rate gets you a Hall of Fame career. Because hitting a 95-mile-per-hour pitch with milliseconds to react might just be the hardest thing to do in all of sports. Remember Tim Lincecum, the Freak? Back-to-back Cy Youngs, 3 World Series rings with the Giants, he was untouchable. But then, almost overnight, he vanished. What happened to MLB's most dominant pitcher? It all started with his unconventional journey. Undersized in high school, overlooked by many. Yet, he developed a fastball that defied logic, earning him the nickname The Freak for his incredible power despite his size. But that same explosive, violent pitching motion that made him a superstar also carried a hidden cost. Scouts warned about it for years, and in 2012, after a back injury, the unthinkable happened. His fastball velocity plummeted. He fought hard, even throwing 2 more no-hitters, but injuries piled up. a line drive to his arm, a nagging hip condition requiring surgery. By 2017, the freak was gone from baseball, a Hall of Fame talent whose body gave out too soon. What do you remember most about Tim Lincecum? Let us know in the comments. In the 1993 All-Star Game, John Kruk stepped into the box against Randy Johnson and instantly regretted it. Johnson, standing 6'10", unleashed his first pitch, a blazing 95-mile-per-hour fastball that sailed right over Kruk's head. Kruk's helmet flew off, and so did his confidence, even patting his chest like, "Is my heart still beating?" When he stepped back in, he wasn't even trying to hit. He was just trying to survive. Meanwhile, the entire dugout is cracking up, watching Kruk's reaction. From that moment, he wanted no part of the plate. He bailed out on every pitch. 3 pitches later, he struck out without even trying, laughing the whole way back to the dugout. It wasn't just an at-bat, it was comedy gold, showing even the best can look helpless against Randy Johnson. Before the 1970s, nobody really knew how fast pitchers threw. Then, one device changed baseball forever. In the 1970s, engineers adapted radar gun technology, originally designed for police to catch speeding cars, to clock baseball pitches. The very first radar gun was aimed at the mound during a Texas Rangers game. Suddenly, fastballs weren't just fast, they had numbers. Nolan Ryan clocked in at 100.8 miles per hour, and the game would never be the same. Scouts now had data, coaches could measure progress, and pitchers, they started chasing velocity like never before. Training, mechanics, even careers all shifted to throw harder and faster. That little radar gun didn't just track speed, it sparked the modern power pitching era. And today, 100 miles per hour is just the beginning. Derek Jeter, the Yankees legend who built his legacy on winning, made a $1.2 billion move that nearly destroyed that legacy. In 2017, Jeter joined a group of investors to buy the Marlins for $1.2 billion. He put in just $25 million of his own money, but he was the face of the franchise, CEO, decision maker, and the guy meant to turn it all around. Jeter came in with a championship blueprint from his time with the Yankees. He did the dirty work, trading superstars like Giancarlo Stanton and Christian Yelich. Fans were furious, attendance plummeted, the Marlins kept losing, but his vision was clear, building a young, talented team from the bottom up, poised to win for years. And by 2022, the plan was working. The painful rebuild was over. The team had a solid pitching core and was just 1 or 2 big signings away from being a real threat in the National League. This was the moment Jeter had been building towards. But right when it was time to take the next step, Jeter suddenly resigned as CEO. His stake reportedly sold for less than he paid, costing him millions of his own money. This is where the mistake became clear. Jeter wanted to spend big on free agents to put the team over the top, but the majority owner, Bruce Sherman, refused to open the checkbook. Jeter only owned 4% of the team. He was the CEO and the face of the franchise, but he didn't control the money. In his farewell statement, Jeter said the vision for the future was different than the one I signed up to lead. In the end, Derek Jeter didn't quit on the Marlins. He quit on an owner who wasn't as committed to winning as he was. So on October 9th of 1996, a rookie shortstop named Derek Jeter stepped into Yankee Stadium, and baseball history changed forever. Just months earlier, Jeter was fighting to keep his spot on the roster. Now, under the lights of the ALCS, the Yankees were trailing the Orioles, and a 22-year-old kid was about to flip the script. The pitch came in. Jeter swung and sent it deep to right field, but it looked short until a fan reached out. Jeffrey Mayer, a 12-year-old fan, leaned over the wall and pulled Jeter's fly ball into the stands. The umpires ruled it a home run. Tie game, chaos. That moment, it turned Jeter into the face of destiny. The Yankees went on to win the game, the series, and eventually the World Series, their first in 18 years. And it all started with one swing, one fan, And one name that would echo through baseball forever: Derek Jeter. Have you ever wondered how much it would cost to buy Major League Baseball? Like, not just a team, but the whole league. Let's break down the insane numbers. The MLB has 30 teams, and their combined value around $85 billion. Yeah, that's with a B. The New York Yankees alone are worth over $8 billion, while smaller teams like the Miami Marlins sit closer to $1 billion. But that's just the teams. Add in stadiums, media rights, and trademarks, you're easily talking over $100 billion to own it all. That's more than the GDP of over 100 countries just to play ball. So unless you've got Apple-level money lying around, buying the MLB is definitely out of the ballpark. Would you spend that much to own baseball? Drop your answer below. Did you know that one of the greatest pitchers in baseball history never won the Cy Young Award? The Cy Young is basically the MVP for pitchers, given every year to the best pitcher in each league. Nolan Ryan threw 7 no-hitters. He racked up 5,714 strikeouts, more than anyone else in MLB history, and he pitched for 27 seasons, longer than most players even dream of. So how is it possible that a guy this dominant never took home the Cy Young? Well, despite his incredible stuff, Ryan was often wild, walking more batters than anyone in history, and he played in eras filled with legends like Tom Seaver, Roger Clemens, and Greg Maddux, all competing for the same award. So while Nolan Ryan's name isn't on a Cy Young trophy, his records might just be untouchable. What do you think? Is he the greatest pitcher never to win it? In 2000, Alex Rodriguez signed the most shocking deal in baseball history: $252 million with the Texas Rangers. It didn't just make headlines, it changed the entire economics of Major League Baseball. At the time, that number was unthinkable. It was double the previous record deal. The Rangers basically handed A-Rod a blank check. 10 years, $250 million for one man. Fans were stunned, other teams furious, and the rest of MLB's owners terrified. That contract shattered salary ceilings. Star players saw it and said, if A-Rod's worth that, what about me? Within just a few years, player salaries exploded, and agents used A-Rod's deal as the benchmark. Even small market teams had to rethink how they built their rosters. Ironically, the Rangers couldn't afford their own masterpiece. By 2004, they traded A-Rod to the Yankees, but the damage or the revolution was done. Every mega deal that followed, from Trout to Judge, traces back to that one signature in Texas. But here's the crazy part. If you adjust that $252 million deal for inflation, what does it look like today? Let's do the math. $252 million in 2000 equals roughly $460 million in today's dollars. That means A-Rod's deal was basically $500 million by 2025 standards. Now let's compare it to today's megastars. Shohei Ohtani with the Los Angeles Dodgers, a record-breaking $700 million over 10 years. But here's the twist. Most of that money is deferred, meaning Ohtani gets paid across 2 decades. In present day value, it's closer to $460 million, almost identical to A-Rod's deal after inflation. Juan Soto, recently with the Mets, $500 million over 12 years. His deal is real-time cash, no deferrals, but even that in raw value is only a step beyond what A-Rod earned 25 years ago. So A-Rod's insane deal back then, it was ahead of its time. The rest of baseball is only now catching up to what he set in motion. His contract didn't just raise salaries, it redefined how teams think about value, marketing, and star power. A-Rod didn't just change baseball, he invented the modern sports contract. Barry Bonds hit 762 home runs, the most in MLB history. But here's the question baseball can't stop asking. Who could ever break it? Let's start with Shohei Ohtani, baseball's unicorn. He just hit 55 bombs in 2025, bringing his total to around 280 career home runs. If he keeps up 40 plus a season for another decade, he might sniff the record, but that's a huge if. Then there's Aaron Judge, fresh off a 53 homer season and sitting at about 368 career home runs. But even at that pace, he'd need 10 more elite seasons to touch Bonds. Age and injuries, not on his side. And yeah, Bonds' record comes from the steroid era, but let's be real, he wasn't the only one. Pitchers, hitters, you name it, we only know the ones who got caught. In that era, the odds that most players weren't using something are pretty slim. It was a different game, a different reality. Today's game is more clean and has tougher pitching, deeper bullpens, more rest days, and stricter load management. That 7.62 looks even bigger. Maybe Juan Soto someday. Maybe. Until then, Bonds' record might just be baseball's unbreakable wall. Who do you think could do it? Did you know it actually takes longer to blink than it takes for a 100-mile-per-hour fastball to reach home plate? A blink lasts about 300 to 400 milliseconds. But a 100-mile-per-hour pitch, it only needs about 375 milliseconds to travel the 60 feet 6 inches from the pitcher's hands to the catcher's glove. That means if you blink at the wrong time, you could literally miss the entire pitch. Hitters have less than half a second to decide if the pitch is a fastball, curveball, or slider, and where it's going. Their brain has to process, react, and swing faster than a blink. So next time you blink, just remember, in baseball, that tiny moment could be the difference between a home run or a strikeout.
Ever wonder how fast a foul ball comes flying into the crowd? It's a lot faster than you think. At a Major League Baseball game, a foul ball off a 95-mile-per-hour fastball can rebound into the stands at over 100 miles per hour, and it gets there in just half a second. That's faster than most people can even react. From bat to face, less than the blink of an eye. And if you're sitting close, you're just 60 feet away, meaning that ball reaches you before your brain even processes the sound of the hit. That's why MLB added extra netting in 2018. So next time you grab those front row seats, keep your head on a swivel.
Did you know that if the Dodgers win the World Series again in 2025, there could be a lockout in 2027? Yeah, sounds crazy, but it's all about money, power, and a new agreement that's coming up in 2027.
They said the Dodgers are ruining baseball. Let's get 4 more wins and really ruin baseball.
Team owners want to set a salary cap, a limit on player pay. But the Players Association, they're not having it. And if the Dodgers win again, the owners could use that as an excuse to say, this is out of control. They're spending way too much. So what could happen? A possible lockout, meaning baseball could completely shut down over a fight between owners and players. What do you think? Should there be a salary cap in MLB? Drop your thoughts in the comments.
Shohei Ohtani just did something no athlete on earth should be able to do. Baseball's the hardest sport to dominate. Most players master one skill, hitting or pitching. Ohtani's mastered both at the highest level. In 2025, he hit a 282 batting average, crushed 55 home runs, and posted a 2.87 ERA as a pitcher. Then in the playoffs versus the Brewers, 6 shutout innings, 10 strikeouts, and 3 home runs. No one in MLB history has ever done that. The only fair comparison at this point would be Michael Jordan, but he dominated a sport where one guy can take over. Ohtani's crushing 2 jobs in the hardest sport on earth against the best talent ever. Babe Ruth could never do this in today's league. So yeah, Shohei Ohtani isn't just playing baseball, he's raising the bar for what one man can do in professional sports.